Welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. Glad everyone is here, and let's begin. I guess I'm going to start this time. We'll talk a little bit about the energies. And in last month when we talked, they were showing me that the energy is going to become a little more, I don't know, a little bit of rapids and stuff, a little running the rapids a little bit. And that certainly has happened. And it's just because of what's going on in the world right now. And the soul group is being affected. So our job as light workers is even more important than ever, keeping that energy grounding and keeping it going out there so people don't move into their lower self and act from their lesser instincts. So, but other than that, as we were talking before we started the recording, spring is finally here. I know officially it's here. I am so excited for spring. If I could have spring, summer, fall, that would be my vote. So anyway, with that, I'd like to say more things are happening. There's a lot of energetic things happening. The energy's coming in. I'm noticing it. I had last week, out of the blue, I had a wave of old stuff come up and I was feeling it. And it's like, what is this? And I'm finding myself with the energies that are associated with that. And I said, this isn't me. There's no reason to feel this way. And then all of a sudden I looked at it and said, oh, that's what that is. But that's because of all the things coming in, precipitating all the stuff leaving. So if you're having any of that happening or just weird, odd states of being, a lot of that has to do with the influx, another wave of influx of energy coming in. It's a good thing, but on the other hand, change is always a challenge when we're living in the world. So with that, I'm going to say hello to Franny. Franny just joined us. And I'm going to begin. How about if we start with Marci? What's happening with you, Marci? Are you there? Okay, well, maybe we'll move on from Marci. She may have stepped away from the phone. Let's move up. I'd say Pat, but I know you want to wait. Oh, there you are, Marci. You there?
Yeah. I didn't unmute, I guess, but you can hear me now.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So, tell us about a little bit what's happening since the last time we talked. You had some changes and moves planned, and so what are you doing?
Well, let's see. I'm still doing the beach thing, and I've got tickets to go to the Big Island on the 20th.
Ooh.
So I'll go over there. Yeah, I'll go over there and meet my son, and he's going to be there 10 days, and we'll check out the real estate and have some fun. I'm like pointing, like determined, but I also know that I've got to stay in the flow.
Yes.
So, it's kind of a weird position in some ways because it's like, I don't want lower stuff to force something, and yet I don't want to stagnate either. So, yeah, that's kind of how that's looking.
Well, I'm glad you said that because there is part of your low self subconscious, that set of programming and intentions that is definitely there that would try to, it could come up. So I'm glad you're aware of it. Yeah.
That it'll instead of being in the flow, it'll program what it wants to happen.
Yeah, it can be, but you're already aware. I mean, when you said it, I saw that your inner self is aware of it. And so, if you feel yourself going out of the flow, you know what's happening and we don't have to act upon those things. We can just say, okay, that's what that is and let it bypass. And then, because I feel like this is it feels like this is a smooth time for you to go over there and look at things and see what shows itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want to, I know well, we're here now, right? So history is just history, but it's like being on the trail of something and you don't want to let go. And so yeah, to know when to be open and when to follow through. So,
Yes, and it's interesting you said that because what I've been getting in the last few days, and your comment kind of prompted me to think about it, was that as we've been on this, I call it this plateau, this energetic realm spectrum that we've been in, operating in, which has been wonderful. We're shifting upward, but as we're anchoring to this higher, some people call it new dimension, new earth, the higher etheric energies and the corresponding ones in the universe. A lot of the things that we intended are still there, but they're not going to take the same shape. You know what I mean? Before, when we were on our old path, maybe it meant, I'll make up something like for you, we were going to go buy a traditional piece of property in a house and something. Maybe now it's still some sort of a place to live, but it's different. I'm just, kind of just making something up. And I realized that, and I had some dreams here recently, and then higher guidance came in and said, listen, the thing that I was looking at, I was unaware that I was still operating under an old pattern, and that the new pattern had come in, and enough had anchoring had happened, and things had shifted upwards. And I was still trying to, probably from a little low self stuff going in there, trying to do some activities under the old patterning. So it's just too good to be aware that if we find things not flowing as well, look for the higher pattern that may be already there and then move into that. At least for me, I hadn't quite seen it there. It was there, but I just wasn't paying attention. So thought I'd share that.
okay. Yeah, yeah, like you mentioned dreams. I had one right before I got out of bed this morning, and it was the funniest thing because it was like a lunch bag, a brown paper lunch bag.
Mm-hmm.
And for years and years, I've had images of a brown bag, and I always think of there was a little restaurant in Carnation, Washington called the Brown Bag, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, why am I seeing this brown bag throughout the years? Why am I seeing this? Well, this morning before I got up, I see really rapidly this brown lunch bag and things getting stuffed into it. And it was like, what is this with this brown bag?
Mm. I think it's a good thing.
it, it was some kind of, I know it's on some subconscious level, this brown bag is hanging out,
Kind of the nature of your life and how it's been going, the brown bag, moving. But I think getting stuff put into it, I just got that it's a good thing, and I think it has to do with your upcoming trip to the Big Island.
Oh, good, good. Because it was the funniest thing. It was happening really rapidly, and it was like stuffing a bunch of stuff in there. It's like, okay, okay.
Things for you,
So,
yeah,
well, that's good.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was weird energy. Absolutely. I was talking to Pat about it earlier, and definitely yesterday was weird energy day for sure. But what I realized at the end of the day was that the weirdness was coming from the story that the mind was telling,
Yeah.
because the actual events weren't as nefarious as the mind was making them to be. The energy might have been weird, but the actual events were pretty, pretty tame.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny because once it finally clicked that it was just the mind's quirking of it, then it finally released, because it was hanging on for several hours yesterday, and it was like, well, this is not good. Not feeling good.
Yeah, but it looks like it's passing.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
that's good.
And I will just share with you, Deborah and I have been experiencing, let's call it strangeness and energies, and we know it just
Uh-huh.
has to do with stuff flowing on, and not getting caught up in it. But I'm glad you were aware of that. It was, everything was fine. It's just, it was just, as you say, things of the mind.
Right, right. The only other thing I would share is it was kind of cool. You know how we had this astrological, we had the solar eclipse, lunar eclipse going on this last month?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of attention on the stars and the sky, and it's real visible here. So the moon was in just this tiny slice after the eclipse. It was just like a sliver.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day or the day after, when I went out and saw the moon, it was almost a quarter moon. And it's like, wait a minute. You know, we haven't passed near enough days for that to happen. But it was like, okay, that's where we're at. It's not how it works usually, but that's where we're at. The next night I went out and looked, and it was back down to the thin slice again, just a tiny bit bigger like it normally would be. And I thought, this is really funny, because it was like showing me, I was seeing how things weren't really linear.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, how it was, you know, shifting, however you want to say it, shifting timelines or whatever you want to call
Mm-hmm.
it. But it was just like, oh man, this is so obvious. So anyway,
It's just weird when those things happen, isn't it?
yeah, I love it. It's great.
I know, and Hawaii
It's
it just
so,
seems like it's a place where things tend to happen, the Hawaiian Islands. Um,
yeah, yeah. If you want to see weird, this is a good place to see it.
well, and as I mentioned some time ago, a long time ago, when I was driving from on Oahu, was Maile, so at the other end of the island, on the one side, near on the Diamond Head side of a thing, and I was coming back with a full moonlit night, and all of a sudden above Diamond Head, up in the sky, I could see this city, and it was pretty clear. I mean, it was the Crystal City, the Celestial City, and there it was, and I just kept
Oh wow.
driving. I was the only one on the road, so I didn't have to worry about running into anybody. I could drive and watch that, and I just watched it for several minutes. I was like, this is amazing. At the time, I called June up and said, June, you wouldn't believe what I just saw. So it was wonderful. So all kinds of things. They happen all over the world, but certainly they happen a lot in Hawaii. So,
Yeah.
all right. So anything else?
No, just if you have anything you think I might want to hear.
The only thing I got was as you were talking about it, what they were showing me, and that your high self and I think your guides, is that and the only word I can have, it's probably not accurate, but it's the word I have, is I see that it's the energies, as you get there, it's a flowing kind of a trip, and it's for you to have that. And you're aware of your low self tendencies, so as long as you keep, you just are aware of that, and if things start getting a little bumpy, you'll know, say, hey, just bless your low self and send it on its way so that you can get back into the higher energies. But it just feels like a good trip. I think there's things more to happen on that, but they're not giving me a glimpse of what it is, and probably it's not for me to know, to tell you. So,
Okay.
all
Great.
right.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, and thank you, and I cannot wait to hear what the adventure after next month. We'll see what happens.
Marci, can I add something in?
Please.
When you were
Absolutely.
talking
Absolutely. I
about the
love to
little
think.
brown, when you were talking about the little brown bag,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
saw it would be like a wish list of everything on the property that you would want, and you were stuffing it into the bag.
Ooh.
And I'm hearing
Oh,
you're supposed to have fun on this time. This isn't seriousness. Whimsical kept coming up. Allow this to be a whimsical time with your son, and just let the magic happen that is supposed to. And the little brown bag is full of all of the desires that you have for this piece of property. So that's what I saw as soon as you said the brown bag.
oh, wonderful. That sounds beautiful, Paula. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm be excited to see the property when it comes to fruition.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Wow. Yeah. Whimsical, I like that. I got flowing, but whimsical is better. So whimsical and just enjoying it. Thank you both, Paula, for all the insights.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to switch. I'm going kind of random today. I'm going to go to Lisa if Lisa's ready. Do you have anything to share? Love to hear what's happening and anything at all.
A lot's been happening. Energetically, I've been super busy, but last week I had a really intense dream. Um, that was really vivid, and then I could feel like all this energy kind of. It was almost like I was in the dream state, but I was aware of my physical body, and I could feel all this energy kind of moving through it. So I don't know if something in that dream was helping to clear some past traumas or things, old baggage, but it was pretty intense. It kind of stayed with me all day, probably for
Mhm.
a couple days. And then yesterday I did the um one of my friends from my old Michael Tamura group is she's doing these conversations with her psychic friends, and they're talking about different topics and stuff, and she's recording that and she's putting it on YouTube for her podcast that she just started about a month ago. So I did that yesterday, and I had this huge energy coming in the night before, so I didn't get a lot of sleep. I did the inner conversation, and there was a lot of energy coming through that, and like her, I was watching her because we had the two windows, kind of like Zoom but a different thing. So I was here and she was here, and like her kept, it was like the energy started getting really high, and it's almost like she was moving in slow motion. It was buffering. I was like, please don't blow out my computer. And so that was happening, and I think it went pretty well. I think we kind of expanded on things that she was saying she liked to keep it. She was trying to keep things more for like beginner level people,
Hmm.
but I just let what needed to come through.
Hmm.
And then I don't know, about an hour after that, I started getting hit with some really intense energy. I had to lay down, started pouring in through my whole body. Um, and then I was pretty out of it the rest of the day. So I'm not sure why that happened. And then the top of my head was pretty sore. And then I got a massage today from Esther. And when she went to go work on my head, she was like, whoa. She's like, there's like this whole spiral of energy just like coming down through your head, through your whole body. And then she's like, I can't even, she's like, this energy is just emanating out from your crown about a foot out. And she says, I can't hardly put my hands there. So I was curious what's happening with that.
Well, you just, and I've seen this in sessions where they get really expanded because the connections are coming in and the higher guidance is bringing things in. I think when you talked to about the first thing, the dream, you know, you had some stuff cleared out. That's true, but it was replaced with new things coming in, and that's continuing. And then when you had the session, I'm glad your computer's okay because I went through a period, as you know, I went through two or three motherboards before I finally got
Yeah.
that solved. Um, um, so yeah, you're having a bunch of things coming in, and it's continuing. It's another phase of it, or another part of it, another, I don't know, have a different facet of it, but it's the expansion of your being and the connections coming in. It's pretty lit up. Let's just put it that way. Coming in, it's pretty clear. And it's going in. It's kind of happening right now as we speak.
Oh
So
yeah, like probably about an hour.
yeah.
The energy just started pouring in again, and I was like, I don't even know if I can do the Zoom call. I sitting down so that, because standing up, it was just like so strong again.
Yeah, and you're actually looking pretty grounded, but that'll be important for you, and you probably do it anyway. Do you ever go barefoot out? Barefoot a lot?
I do, but it's not warm enough yet. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you be good at, if you grounding or if you can just use the, I don't know if you have earthing mats or anything. Uh,
Yep. Right here.
yeah, okay, right behind you. I'm seeing that you've got good grounding, so obviously you're doing the right things. Keep that up because with the intensity coming in, you don't want any resistance at all, but because it can cause feedback. But you're looking good. It's flowing in and expanding, and you've got some download stuff coming in for your being, for your greater being.
Hmm.
So, and that's still in formative stages. That's it's part of what you're moving into as the old is being dissolved, being let go. The old. That's the way I'm going to have to say it. You're expanding into these higher facets of your being, and you're operating from that. And the ones that are the old ones, you need them less and less, and they're being disconnected, and so that's what you're moving into, and a few other things as well. It's hard; it's a blur right now for me to talk about any of it. There's just a whole lot of things, but it's all very good for you, and it affects not only your spiritual life, but it affects what you do in your work and just pretty much everything. So it's a good thing. And I think you'll know more as this finishes up and completes and then things crystallize and things. I think you'll have kind of a sense where you can see yourself and some of what's happening a little clearer. And we'll probably be able to talk about it more clearly next month.
Okay.
But it's good. It's more than good. It's really great. It's intense too.
It's really intense.
Yeah, I'm
That's a
seeing
lot.
how it's coming in. It's a very intense, almost like a Christed energy coming in, and that's what you've coming.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty high
I,
intense from the divine, straight through, plus some others, all blending in.
yeah, I was seeing yesterday, I started to see that real, oh, it's kind of a bright orange. And then after the orange, it was that gold.
Yeah, I see the gold right now,
Yeah.
and it is blending in right now. And there's another gold, and I see this from time to time. I mean, keep this in mind that I'm telling you, this is a colorblind person telling you the color here. So it's a beautiful color. It's a very powerful color. It's a green gold. I don't know if you've seen that. You've got some of that coming in. It's a very
Okay.
powerful green, and it's a Christed green. It's a Christed green gold. Gold can come in. It's a high frequency anyway. But when it shifts to its Christed aspect, that you've got both regular gold coming in energies flowing in through these different. It's like threads, like thousands and thousands of threads flowing in. It's one big, almost like a big rope, with all the little pieces that make it up, all the threads that make up the big rope. But it's not twined. It's just straight coming in and flowing out to expanding out into your bodies outward. And then that's all going to get integrated. It's also expanding out into your different aspects, which you would expect, because what's happening is as time goes on, you're having a greater and greater connection and intercommunication with them, as well as probably, I think, even conscious level. I don't know if you're doing much of that, but it's available to you should you want to, of your different aspects, and integrating more harmoniously as one. And that has to do with the path you've chosen in this lifetime.
What's the green gold and how is that different?
It's a spiritual high-end high-end. All spiritual growth is high-end, but it's a high spiritual growth energy. It has to do with the gold, blessing and love, and that sacredness, that sacrosanct aspect with this green. It's like a divine learning, but I don't know more than that about it. I've seen it over the years. It comes from time to time when we're ready for it. And you have it coming in right now with the gold, the regular, some silver, and other higher colors up there that I don't even have a name for. They're just the colors that exist up there that are coming down. As they come in here, they I'll use a left brain word, transduce into their energy equivalent of this level and do their work. And they do it in the world, they do it in all the different bodies, mostly. A couple of them are not as much as others, but it's happening all over. And then you're going to go through another couple phases of integration as well that are going to be coming up. Right now you have the downloading, expanding, then getting it stabilized, gelling, and then it'll start crystallizing, and then all your different bodies will start interacting with all the different facets of these energies and expansion, and then you'll have the awareness that follows after that. And it can happen rather quickly, and it can happen cyclically. You know how it is. You'll have expansion, connection, awareness, then expansion, connection, awareness as an ongoing cycle. Yeah. So that's, in a nutshell, probably kind of high level, but that's what's happening. I can confirm what you said.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I gotta say, is there anything else? I mean, that's pretty huge, but I just thought I'd make sure we haven't left anything out here.
I can just say that I had a really good conversation with my business partner.
Good.
And yeah, I put it all out there and it just flowed. And so she's kind of in the space now of deciding whether or not she can continue.
I'll just continue the white light on it, because I knew she could do this, but where she was before isn't, well, obviously where she's moving a bit. So this is good. Let's leave it it's moving in a good direction, and let the divine and the higher guidance take care of it for both of you, for the highest good.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Wow. When you have things going on, you have them going on. Okay, I have to ask, because I don't always keep up with these. Did you change your hairstyle again?
No, I just have it pulled back because I had a massage today, so I've got
Okay.
all through my hair, and so I've just no. Yeah. Hopefully next time you'll see it the way it usually is. But
Okay. Well,
I'm wearing it longer. That
actually, for reasons I'm not going to share, that's a good thing.
okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you right up front. I'm just not going to tell you, but yeah, it's a good thing. I'll tell you later. Anyway,
Okay.
all right. You're welcome. Well, thank you for sharing. All right. For Jessica, who just joined us, I decided today, let's just do kind of random. So in the interest of doing things randomly, Jessica, do you have anything to share? Any thoughts, any questions, anything at all?
Hi. Sorry, I blanked this out today. Yeah, I want to know why she should wear her hair longer.
Next month. Tell you then.
Okay.
Tell you then. There is a reason for it. So wonderful.
Okay. So I started my new job, and it's, I don't know, it was like a roller coaster the first several weeks, but it seems to like have mellowed out a little bit, I think. I think I've kind of hit some kind of a groove, and but I don't know that it's gonna fulfill everything I need either. So do you see anything about all of that?
Yeah, I actually do. And this is what they showed me beforehand when you asked the question before, was that this is the nature of, I'm going to call it this, it's a path, but it's the nature of the path that you're walking right now, this segment of it, let's call it that. And it has to do in the past, and it's actually longer than this, but I'm going to say the past 5 lifetimes. You've culturally and for family reasons and all kinds of reasons, and just where you were in your growth, your spiritual growth had expanded, commensurate with the time, and now it's time for that inner light to shine. And when that starts happening, it causes things to happen. Now, your part of this is going to be the normal, as we talked about, things that happen within a job. You just the inner office, getting used to things, the forming, norming, storming, performing, all those things. But it's the chance for you to in that environment just be yourself to the maximum extent you can, let your light shine, and things will evolve. And as you do it more, and I want you to get, I'm going to mention this, but I don't want it to become a thing to get fixated on or anything, is that as you do that, it's going to open you up to those energies and your dynamics for other opportunities to come along. So there can be this, you'll be there, and it's going to be kind of the environment that it is. But no matter where you go, it's going to be the environment that it is. But it's really, this is a place where your light can shine. And just so you know, you're doing some of that. I don't know if you're aware of it. I don't know if you've set your
Oh, good.
intentions. Okay, because it is happening. And it's growing a little bit, and then some days it shrinks because of what's going on. But it's there, and it's having an effect on others. It's causing some of the oddness, I'm going to call it that, I don't have another word, of interactions with some of the others, with each other, and occasionally, just not in a bad way or necessarily, but just some odd interactions you may notice. Or it doesn't even have to be words. You can just feel like, gosh, that seems, as someone walks by, gosh, there's something strange here, or whatever. And it has to do with these energies that are flowing through out there. You're a channel for them, and they're beginning to absorb it like a sponge a little bit, and it's affecting them. So this is a good thing. So a little bit, I'm going to say, just stay steady and hold on to your hat.
Oh, are there bigger things coming?
I just more, no, not bigger, just more of the same. And as you expand more, other, I want to call them, I'm going to use the word opportunity, but other potentialities within. I think just working there, you might move into something else or some other area, or expand what you do. I don't even know, because I think the business is looking to expand as time goes on. I think that is their intention.
Definitely.
Very much so. I agree. And as you shine that light, some other things can show up, and you just have to follow your heart and to make sure that that the thing that if something feels heavy, then it probably is. If it feels lighter, maybe heavy at first, but then it's going to be lighter. Then just follow that path.
Okay.
Yeah. So all is well, believe it or not.
Well, that's good.
It's just it's just the nature of it. That's all. Go ahead.
Yeah. I I don't know. I find that I have a hard time vocalizing things. Like, I can't find words for things, and I sound like an idiot half the time. And I'm not sure. I mean, some of it's like I've kind of always been that way in a little bit, but I don't know if something else is going on, or do you get anything on that?
Sure. Yeah, I can tell you what the something else is that you're moving into your intuitive self more, into your connection with the higher, I say light bodies, are all their energetic bodies, but with your intuitive self and operating from that. And much of the things that we sense intuitively are wordless. We'd have to write a poem. Maybe you can write a poem about it, because poetry penetrates beyond. It points towards things, but it doesn't talk about anything specifically in the normal fashion like prose does, where we're reading a book on facts and fiction, facts, and the bolt is 3 feet, the bolt is made of metal, and it's 3/32 thread and that sort of thing. You're operating at the intuitive level, and it's coming through, but as you do this, as you connect with your intuitive nature and your higher mental body, I think as time goes on, you'll be able to find yourself a little bit more at a time having that come through. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I do. This is something I talked about yesterday. Um, was that for me, there's like Jeff calls it kind of that intuitive self, and it's like it's really our natural state of being, because we're moving out of the mind
Yep.
and just in the divinity and the knowingness. And so it's really hard to plan things. It's hard to things just don't come. um, halfway through, it's like I was talking about something and then it was just gone. And I
Right.
have that a lot. And so it's because we're transitioning out of the mind into the that natural state where we're just in the present moment and there's a sensing of things and there's not so much of a mental activity. So when you're working in the real world and you're having to use that analytical mind, it's got to be pretty hard,
Yeah.
because you're naturally moving out of that space. So, but it feels like as I'm looking at you, the more you integrate into that, you'll find it'll get integrated and then words and things will come more easily, but it's almost like you're in between.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Jeff? She's like,
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's right.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I don't.
you're moving as you move into it, as Lisa was saying. And there's the other aspect that you're going to be shown, you're beginning it right now, but it's not quite time yet. I call it everyone has their name for it. It's the mind of God. It's at the higher mind. We all connect with it. Our higher self has, and you're moving into that connection. But right now, as she was saying, is you're getting you some integration into that and get that working through, and then you'll have the higher mind, and that'll allow you to say things, to have the words that you need to express yourself appropriately.
Okay. Meanwhile, I guess I'm just trying not to sound like an idiot.
Yeah,
Just
Oh,
make fun of yourself. Just go, oh, I have a brain fart right now. Just be in the
yeah.
movement with it, and you know, don't get in the fear, the worry about it, and just go, oh, I'm having a brain fart today. Okay. Or, moment.
I'm like that every day, but
Right. But just, in this moment, okay, there it goes. All right, it'll come back. Just be light
right,
about it.
I like what you said there, Lisa, and I agree. Don't get into the fear of it. I agree with Lisa. Don't get the fear of it, Jessica. You just, and what I get these things at work. They'll come in and it's a real important spiritual message, but the person's not in a place to want to hear it in that way. I say, listen, it's just kind of conceptual right now. I can talk a little bit about it. It may not make a lot of sense, but maybe later I can explain the rest of it. I'll give them the piece they need to have, to the extent that I can share it, and you can do the same thing. Share the extent you can, and just say, hey, it's I'm still gelling, and when it comes to me the rest of the way, we can talk more if you need to. People understand that when things are still in the process of being, you know, put together in your mind.
right.
Yeah.
And Jessica, this is Pat. I just wanted to say that I cannot tell you how many people I have spoken to in the past, I almost want to say at least 6 months, who keep saying, I can't remember anything. I can't remember anything. And John and I have been like that. I will say things like to where I couldn't find things. It's getting a little better as time goes on, and there was something else there. Right now, see, I lost, the rest of what I was going to share with you, but yeah,
BRS.
and I think, basically it is all part of this new energetics of where we're going, as Jeff keeps saying all the time, we're going up, 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 up. And in order to go up, 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 oh, this was it. We sort of have to let go of a lot of that mind stuff that's been controlling us for eons and saying, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is how you were taught in the home. This is what your early teachers and your mom told you and things like that. And that is not true. I mean, some of it may be true. I'm not discrediting it, but it's not really. We are to go back to who we really, really are. And forget to remember. Yeah, John says we have to forget in order to remember. And that's what I was told years ago at the top of the stairs here. And of course, didn't get it then. But anyway, I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Right. Well, thanks, you guys.
Thank you. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Pat, because What I got was what was happening. In fact, it's I saw some of this with Deborah, but the old wiring, the way we used to do things, because we were moving from this strata up to this one, anchoring now slowly and in a way that's right for each of us. That old wiring of communication, how we did things and thought and how that, as that gets dissolved and we're getting the new one, we're not used quite ready to use the new wiring. But as we get used to doing that, it will happen. And it happens naturally. And that you're right. That is where we're moving, and it just seems to keep accelerating. I every time we keep saying it, I can't imagine it going faster, and yet here it comes. So.
Right.
So anyway, you're doing fine, and you are moving in to more of showing your light shining out, and part of that is that you're connecting and using this higher wiring, and you're just getting used to doing it, and the old is dissolving. And what do they call that in any kind of a transition? The messy middle. You're neither where you were nor where you're going, kind of. But we're in our evolutionary state, the same thing kind of happens. We're in the middle and moving toward using the new higher systems of our being. So
Because wherever you go, there you are.
I guess that's a corollary to it. Certainly is. That's right. All right. Well,
Well,
is there
thank you
anything
so much.
you're welcome? Anything else at all?
I think that was it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'm glad things are moving there, and they are, and you are definitely being a light into everybody else. I want you to know that the energy have been absorbing it, and it is affecting them in a good way, even though sometimes they may not be aware of that. But that's all right, though. They'll figure it out in time. All
They
right.
just had to first figure out that I wasn't stupid like the other people that were there
Well,
in my position that they got rid of.
actually, you don't give yourself credit for your abilities to the degree that I can see that that your abilities exist. So I'm just going to say that just keep doing what you're doing and your best, and shining that light, and I'll look forward to hearing what's coming up.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm continuing in the randomness, knowing that Pat always likes to be last. Let's move over to Franny. Franny, do you have anything to share? Anything at all? Anything? Questions? Anything? Oh, you moved on my screen. You there?
Hi. Yeah, it's good to be here tonight. Good to hear everybody and see everybody. Um, well, my questions are just that I've been really sick for the last week and a half, and uh, usually when I get sick, it'll last for, just a few days, and then I bounce back. And I was sick all last week, and finally on Friday, I felt like I needed to go to the doctor and find out, if I needed antibiotics. And I
Hmm.
was really heavily congested, and my head hurt. Um, I couldn't breathe, and I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't eating. I wasn't drinking very much. So I went to the doctor on Friday, and I also called and talked to a friend, and um, she met up with me and brought me some soup. She met up with me at the clinic, and at the clinic, uh, they tested me for the flu and said that it wasn't the flu, and that it was just a really bad virus. And so they recommended decongestant and fluids and, that kind of thing. And I also was out. I usually have really wonderful herbal tinctures that I take, like Osha and astragalus and lomatium, and I didn't have any of those at all. So on Friday, I got out and I got some of those, and I got the decongestants really, really helped so much. Um, so I rested over the weekend and went back to work for a few days. And then, but I haven't been 100%. And today I woke up and I was just like, I should not be, I should not, I'm still coughing and hacking, and I should not be around people.
Hmm.
So I didn't go in today, but I just wondered if you could get a read on um what that's about.
Actually, I can, and I think first I want to ask you, what do you sense that it is? Because I think you know.
Well, I think a lot of times when um, I have some sort of somatic problem, whether it's a cold or a toothache or whatever, it's often a call to like pull in and shift my focus from other people to taking care of myself, my body. So that's my first instinct is that um, the creator felt like I needed to be away from work for a while and just sleep and stay home and not do anything, that I needed to unplug a bit.
Yeah, and that's definitely part of it. Absolutely. And just so you know, before I don't lose it, so I'm thinking about it. It's viral, and there's a bacterial component to it as well. There's both. You've got two things.
I wondered about that. It
You
sure
do.
felt like it to
You've got
me.
two of them. You got both, and the one that's actually causing a little bit more problem is the bacterial one. You're getting it, and there's so many variants of these things that it's hard to test for them all. Um, but you're right. It's in that it's time for you to take care of yourself, and it's because what I heard from your high self was you're going through. This is a part of a long cycle transition that has been happening energetically, kind of beneath the surface of the water, so to speak. The currents that go. We're on top of the water. It looks like there's no currents, but underneath the water, there's currents that go at different layers that do different things. These are different layers, and this is some old clearing from old patterns that are going away, being replaced, and a lot of times when these kind of big transitions happen, the body's affected. I've seen it lots of times with people. They get, you can say, sick. They catch something, but that corresponds with the transition energetically of you're letting go of this. I don't want to call it a whale of a thing, but it's an old, heavy, thick stuff energy, and I can see it, and it's on its way out and you have these new energies coming in that are necessary for the many facets, I want to call it that, of your ongoing growth that are happening right now, and that you've been moving into in the last. I think we've talked on and off about, hinted toward it. Things that have been coming in, then more things are for you to come in. You're coming into that, right? This is part of that. So that's why it happened. So yes, it is for you to take care of yourself, but you need to really kind of be away for this to happen. But at the human level, it's about viral and bacterial. And it's a kind of a yucky bacterial too, but just so you know, it was a yucky one, but you'll get rid of it.
And I'm able to treat that with some herbal stuff.
I got that, but I don't know if you have it right now. I'm not sure what you need. This is not my strength. Maybe someone else here who knows these things, like Pat and Lisa probably might know something. Paula might as well. I don't know. But yeah, I think there's some things you can have. I'm getting there's some sort of a tea that could be of help, but I don't want to speak to it because this again, when I tune in, I see it, but I don't know what it is. But that's
I'm getting ready to make some mullein tea, and mullein is really good for any sort of respiratory kind of thing, congestion.
Yeah, that sounds. I get that. I get a very strong vibe on that one. That will help.
Okay.
Franny, do you know Teddy, the herbalist?
You know what? I'm actually going to see Teddy on Saturday. I have an appointment with her.
Ah, she'll have something for you.
Yeah.
What's that?
She'll have just the right thing for you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Teddy knows lots of this stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's doing well, she's an herbalist, but she does I think they're called the ionic foot baths, and then she does reflexology.
Hmm.
And so I was going to soak my feet and get reflexology and then, figure out what else I might need to kind of get back to feeling stronger and better.
That'll
Well,
pull it out really fast, Franny.
Yeah, I said the working with the feet will help really
I was
pull
just
that.
going to say that. Thank you. Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I haven't talked to Teddy or seen her in years. And last week I was kind of getting the hit that I should call her, and anyway, I did, and she was like, "Oh yes, come on over." So we're all set up for Saturday. So I'm excited about that.
And Teddy has gone really high in her work. You'll feel it. The energetics are phenomenal. That's why I was kind of pushing it at the meditation with everybody. She's always been a phenomenal foot reflexologist, but her energetics are moving up and it shows in her footwork. So just like relax, let her do it, get into it. Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Mm,
Oh.
sounds wonderful.
I'm glad you all mentioned that because I got the same thing, is that the reflexology was absolutely, and those pressure points are going to clear wonderful things. Good things are happening. Along with any herbal things that she hands you, and I think you probably will get something. She'll have
Okay.
something for you. So thank you
Okay.
all for reminding. Keep forgetting about Teddy, and I don't know why. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, she's so amazing.
yeah.
Well, I have another question too, and one of the things with being sick is that I haven't had any mental clarity at all. I've just been sort of zoning out, you might say.
Hmm.
And I know not to make decisions when I don't feel well or really oriented or grounded. But I have been wondering whether well, I'm thinking that maybe I should cut back my work for the summer. Um, my niece is supposed to come, and so I'm thinking that I should, at some point, pretty soon here, I should talk with my bosses and just ask if I can cut my work schedule back. And the odd thing is that it's gonna drop anyway. It always drops in the summer. And I can already see, like, I've got a couple of kids that are busy in sports, and then it's going to be summer, and I might see them one or two more times, and that'll be it for them. And then with everybody else, summer comes and most people don't want to maintain their same schedule. So if you have any sort of intuition or guidance on the best way to approach that, and um, anything about timing, that would help.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes. And what I got was just when you feel better, just let your intuition guide you. But you're going to know the moment. I think you're right. It seems like you can cut it back a bit, and it seems like it's going to be just naturally happening that way, and just approach it in the manner that what you're requesting is just a reflection of what the lower work schedule, and that's a good thing because it means they're not your less hours. I suppose less billing hours for them to be concerned about, and at the same time freeing you up for this very important time with your niece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, wait till
Yeah.
you feel a little bit better though. I think you've got some time, but wait till you feel better and then I think you'll have the sense, the clarity and the sense. That's what I get, the intuitive clarity to know when to approach it, who at the time. And I don't think it's going to be an issue. Occasionally something may come up where they need you, but I think generally speaking, you're going to be able to cut back a bit. I don't know.
Oh, great.
I don't know,
Great.
50% probably not, but 15, 20%,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate all of that. And I appreciate the words of encouragement to see Teddy and kind of get connected with her again.
Well, I'm glad they mentioned. Thank you, both of you, for mentioning that again. Boy, um, what's interesting is when I was in Japan, there isn't, when I was there, there's a lot of the pharmacies. Those families have been doing herbs for generation after generation. So they not only license pharmacists in Japan, but they also mix in their herbal stuff. And the doctors there, interestingly enough, all for the most part recognize it. It's just an accepted part of medicine in Japan. So going to see a pharmacist or an herbologist is perfectly normal and acceptable for Japanese doctors, whereas you go here, you're almost talking voodoo for some of them, so, and it's wonderfully powerful stuff. It's just incredibly powerful. So anyway, just Thank you all for jumping in there. I love it. Um, Franny, I don't have anything more other than I just feel I'm excited for you for when your niece comes. That'll be good.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
thanks for the information about letting go and,
Yeah.
just moving through some stuff and letting it go. It's just helpful to know that that's part of what's being processed, part of what's happening. So yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate that insight.
you're welcome. And it's from your high self. And as she said, it was a longer cycle. Even after this is gone, you're going to notice it energetically for a while, but it's going to fade and wane as the new comes in. And um, I'll be curious to see as it happens how it integrates into your life. I'm going to be what your experience is with it because I'm not entirely sure. It's going to be a good thing, but I'd be curious to hear what you have to share.
Hmm.
So,
Great. Thank you.
thank you. All right, Pat. Drum roll, please.
You're funny.
Okay, well, I find I wanted to make it, you're the last one, but certainly not least. But thank you. So, what do you have, Pat? What's happened?
Um, well, just it's funny that Franny was talking about taking care of herself and really all of us. And it seems like I've been taking care of myself more than I ever have. And I've been seeing just so many wonderful different people that have worked on me, as well as, that saying, heal thyself.
Hmm.
So in the middle of the night, when the pain is really talking to me big time, I put my hands on myself and start doing quantum touch Reiki. And it's like, oh, and immediately, it doesn't take more than a few minutes. I can tell that it's helping.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've been dealing with this pain for a while and um, got a few insights today from our friend Yvonne. And a thing that's and tired. I'm not getting good sleep a lot of the nights. Then there'll be a night where I get okay sleep, good sleep. And I'm glad I'm not one of these Fitbit people because I would probably be driving myself insane
Yes.
saying, well, you aren't going to be good for nothing because you're not sleeping. So
Mhm.
anyway, one night this last week, I Gail had told me, Kay's husband Gail, like probably a couple months ago, he gave me a link on their serendipity deal to listen to a talk he gave.
Hmm.
No, it's not a talk, it's a writing. And so I don't know, that night I just was guided to go find it. And it took a while, a little playing around, and I finally found it. I read it and it was all about Kay, how he met her, what their life was like together. It was so beautifully written and so heartfelt. I could feel all the energy of it. Went to sleep that night, and guess what? I dreamt about Kay
Hmm.
all night long. It was so cool. And one time when I woke up to go use the bathroom, I could remember things, but the next morning I couldn't remember anything. But since I started doing that short little meditation that she gave all of us freely, um, she has worked through me to in a manner of healing with three people. And so it is progressing. It is getting very interesting. And I just feel like I can just throw sentences out to her. Or when I go to bed, I'll say, I can't stand living with all this pain anymore. I don't buy into it. I don't believe in it. I don't need it. So I really don't care if I go, but if I'm to stay, I need a lot of help to with
Hmm.
everything. So I'm just getting like real open, and I guess if you if you see anything about any of this, I would love to hear it.
Well, the one thing I can tell you, and this is the part that I think that's really important. I don't. Kay does, and your higher guidance, your high self thinks it is too. Is that whenever we dream about someone, we're actually interacting with their being, some aspect of their being. And with Kay, you're actually interacting with her while you're in that state. You're actually up there doing that. And she's
Mm.
happy because remember she told you before she wanted to talk to you directly.
Yes.
That's happening.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the part that they want. She wants communicated, and your high self wants communicated. So that's what they wanted you to know tonight.
And I don't get words, not yet
No.
anyway.
Yeah.
I don't, but I get feelings and understandings and
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, and you know what? And Gail talks about this too, and lots of people do, but I'll use that because you were talking about him. Is that we get so much at the intuitive level. I'm going to call it the energetic, the interconnection, our natural being, however you want to think about it. And so much of that, because it's ties to so many things simultaneously, there are no words. It's just we can know it, we can understand it, but it's sometimes very challenging to talk about it. And a lot of the communication that you're getting from Kay, some of it you're hearing, but a lot of it you're getting energetically or absorbing and making use of. And she wants you to know that.
Yes, and I realize it's funny how we think of all these spirit beings almost like we think of people in a way, because that's where we're at most of the time.
Mhm.
But I realized the other day, oh, she's no different from like Dr. George or Yogananda.
Mhm.
I mean, there aren't all spirit beings, I'm not saying are the same, but I truly believe that Kay is. Anyway, yeah, thank you. And I think Paula didn't go yet, did
Oh, you know
she?
what? You're right, Paula. I have it. Thank you. I didn't. So you weren't last. So sorry about that. You always like to go last. I'm going to go, Paula. Thank you for reminding me because everybody keeps moving around the screen. So I think I got an area covered and they moved on me. So is there anything else, Pat?
No, I just really um, cherish working with this group. And John's always with us too down there,
Hmm.
adding energy and receiving energy. So yeah, we love it. Thank you.
All right. Thank
So
you.
I had something for you, Pat.
Okay, thanks.
So start breathing in your light, in that new light, and don't try to get it to go to specific places in your body. But as that light comes in, it will go exactly where you need it. So take time every day to just make that intention to breathe in that light into your whole being.
Okay, thank you. That's
Welcome.
awesome.
Yeah. What a great idea.
Easy to do. Couldn't be easier.
Yeah. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you, you guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry I missed Paula because you kept moving around my screen. You did not fall out of our minds. So Paula, what is happening with you and in your
Well,
life?
first of
What's going
all,
on?
thanks. And it's always just so good to be here with everybody and to hear everyone. And it's always interesting how it seems like we're on a bit of, I mean, well, of course, we are all on the same wavelength because we're soul family.
Mhm.
But I would say that the first big news I have is my two mirror image twin boys that I'm the great grandma of have come even earlier than they were supposed to. They were born last week.
Oh, congratulations.
They were 2 months early. So they're little tiny things, but very healthy. Um, they're coming in right now. They're very strong little beings, very connected little beings. I'm feeling right now. So I'm just joyful just because to be great grandma is going to be wonderful. But something that you said earlier, Jeff, about dreams.
Yeah.
I don't remember my dreams anymore, and I did for years.
Hmm.
And I so many of them came true. They weren't dreams; they were visions. I was having a future.
Hmm.
I'm wondering, did I scare myself with the ability to see something, and I just shut it down?
There's a little bit of that. Yes. Yeah. There's some of that.
Is is there a reason I don't remember my dreams, or is it something I just need to not think about? And if it happens, it happens.
There's probably some of that, but let me think about that for a while. Let me see what comes through, okay?
Okay.
And if someone else has something, please jump in. But for me, I need a little time to process that question.
Okay. Um, I can remember when I was 18, it was really commonplace to have dreams that I can think of three right now that I can still remember that I dreamt. And then within 2 days, they were happening in front of me.
Mhm.
And I can remember telling like family members, and they all scoffed at it, like, oh, that's just, how they are. And so then I wondered, okay, so was it me just kind of shutting that down? And to some degree, but then if there's other things that it comes forward, that'll be great. And other than that, I'm happy to hear everybody's just as we close out.
Yeah, and part of it, I did get some of it, so I was already starting the process. You still have that ability to see that. You still have that connection, just so you know. That has not gone away. But part of where you're at right now with all that's going on and the natural evolution of your life is just remaining in the now. I got one of the things I got from your high self, one of the reasons why. But I think there's other facets to it, and so I'm going to see what comes through. And when I do, I'll shoot you an email or we can talk.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I just something happened because I just happened again. I am burning up, and is it an energetic burn? Because it's I could almost just take my clothes off because it's so hot. I feel like I'm going to be a puddle, and it's happening sometimes 5 and 6 times a day. I must, and I don't like the word this. I'm believing that it's energetic.
It is.
Okay, then I'm happy just with that to know that. Then I'll let it come and go and be happy that it's there.
And it's good stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up, Paula, because it's happening to me too, and I thought it was all the herbs I was taking.
Well,
too, Paula.
yeah, so it is all energetic, and that's why with this group, I kind of thought it's probably happening to more than just me because we are all so connected.
Yeah. Boy, I want to tell you, but I can't. You've got it ties right into some very important things in your life. I'm going to just say it that
Okay.
way. They'll let me say that, so that's what I can say. So that's it.
I'm happy to hear that because that always when you say things like that, it is always with such joy and open heart that I know it's a wonderful thing. So
It is.
I'm excited.
It is.
I'm
It's a good
excited.
thing. So we'll leave it that alone, and we can maybe we'll know more next time we talk next month.
All right.
I have something to add, Paula.
Please.
Okay.
So when we're on the astral plane, that is it's like our playing field. And so that's where we try a lot of different things out to see if we actually want to do them here. And so that's a part of like what the deja vu is because you already did it on the astral levels. So that precognition that you're having is that you're just remembering what you already did on the astral or what's happening there, and you're bringing it back in and you're saying, oh, yeah, this is going to happen because you already saw it, if that makes sense.
Oh, what a great explanation. That made perfect sense. Thank you.
So there's a part of where the invalidation kind of got stuck in your space from whoever said, kind of poo-pooed you. And then there's also some fear that came up with that as well.
Yes.
Because then it's like, well, I don't want to know if something bad's going to happen before it happens, because then there's a level of what do you do with that? Am I going to have to be responsible? So there's some part of it where you've kind of put a limit on yourself. But I feel like you could easily open all of that back up. You do have a lot going on, like Jeff said, but I feel like you could still bring some stuff in. And I always like set the intention before I go to sleep to tell myself I'm going to bring back into the physical plane what I did on the astral plane.
Okay.
So just set some kind of intention, what comes to you naturally, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Good information. I appreciate every bit of it. And you had told me something when we did the seminar that we all went to Idaho, and it was opening the left and the right, opening the door on the left and allowing it to go through the right. Or I can't remember it now, but Um,
Well, I
I'll,
know. I was trying to pull that back in, and you go out one door and you bring it back through the other door.
yeah, I'll look in my notes because I wrote it down.
But yeah,
Thank you.
all of those are just little. So, the hard part with is that it's so noisy when you start to come back into your body. It's so noisy on the planet that we lose a lot of that information naturally, just because, but if you're also in a place like for me, if I'm really got a lot going on and processing a lot, I can't pull in the memories of the astral as well.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
um, and sometimes if you wake up and you just write down something, could be a word, could be a color, that also helps to kind of anchor it back into the physical. And then as you move through your day, you'll start to have memories or remembrances of things.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So I hope that
Well,
helps.
that'll help. Thank you.
Wow. See, just wondrous.
Yeah.
Lots of information right here. I love it. Whew. Wow. Well, we've talked about a lot of stuff for such a small group. There's a lot of things talked about here tonight. Wow. I don't have anything else to share, other than I will tell you that, and not, this isn't like a news bulletin to any of you, but because of the paths, plural, that you all are on, each of you is on more, we're on more than one path at a time. We have multiple threads in our life path that we're pursuing at any time. But you all have a lot of things going on and some real energies coming in, just so you know. There's a wave of higher stuff coming in. They're showing it to me. I was going to mention this up front and I spaced it. But it's coming in and it has to do with bringing in some more of the higher connections that we're to be making, that and so that the lesser ones can dissolve, however you think of it, fade away, and then we start using them. So that's coming. And just keep in mind, because the energies are high, and those people in our soul group that are in the world, they're not always ready for it. So some of the behaviors you see out there, some people reacting from their low self, just it's really important now more than ever. And I got this before we started the session, when this is from the divine, is that it's really important that we as light workers really just continue being those beacons of light and anchoring it and letting it shine out into the world, because the world certainly needs it. So, and with that, I'm going to go around. I'm going to go just bottom of my screen. I'm going to start with Marci again, interestingly, and see if you have any last thoughts or anything at all before we close. Are you there, Marci? Well, we'll come back. Jessica, any last thoughts? Anything at all? Any questions before we close?
No, this is beautiful, and I am getting those hot flash things too that everybody else is getting. So I always wonder what they are. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, and they can
But
come at all kinds of different frequencies and energies. It's amazing. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. So thanks everyone. It was good to see everyone.
Thank you. And Paula, we just were there, but any last thoughts? Anything at all?
No, but it's just always funny how one question resonates so much with everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm just, like I said, I'm just thrilled that it's energy, because to me, energy is, if it's going to be anything, energy is the thing to have. So another great night with everyone. Thank you. I look forward to this every month.
Oh, thank you. I love having everybody being here. Oh, just came in as you were talking, Paula. As a group, I suspect it's beyond us, but part of what the divine, which you could say what's coming into the universe, has for us is just, don't be surprised if you start receiving some energetic downloads. It's kind of like software downloads. It comes in, enters our being, crystallizes, and all of a sudden we have, it can be anything, a new skill, we can have an insight, we can have a new idea of what we should be doing in this, that, or the other thing. It could be almost anything. So just, I think I'm certain everyone here in this group has some, at least one. I'm seeing them. They're showing me these downloads that are coming in. We're ready for it now, and it's going to be coming in soon for all of us. So anyway, thought I'd mention that. Lisa, anything at all? Any last thoughts, questions, anything? Love to hear it.
Oh, it's just great to be here with everybody, and I always look forward to this too. And yeah, I just love all the support, and it's just cool all the different things that come about, and it's just great to stay in touch with people and know where everybody's at.
Yeah, and all the things that are happening, it's amazing that what's happening to we think it's just us, and then we come to find out lots of people are having these things happen. So
Yeah.
it's a validation. Well, thank you.
Thank you for having this, Jeff.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a blessing. It's a blessing and an honor to be able to be part of this and for us to do it together. Is that Marci? Are you there now?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Any last thoughts for you before we close here?
Yeah, just the burning up thing. Like that's the new normal. That's been going on for several years, and it's actually a gift because it makes it all lighter after it's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally relate to that. And the thing with the dreams, Paula, like there's phases with the dreams sometimes where they're like a key part, but it's all mind stuff. So if you really need something, it'll come through, you know, like as a vision or however. But for the most part, a lot of that dream stuff, from what I've seen, it's things that would be too hard for us to experience in this physicality, and we don't really need all the details of it. But what you do need will come through. So that's just my 2 bits part of that.
Thank you.
Congratulations on grandbabies. Woohoo!
Yes, that is wonderful. They are bright, shining beings, that's for sure. Well, thank you. And Franny, any last thoughts, questions, anything at all?
I just echo the comments of how wonderful it is to be here with everybody and to hear where people are at. And it's just been so uplifting for me. So I thank you, Jeff, and I thank everybody here. And I love how we're all connected and things are interwoven together, you know. I have a message from Laree, which is just that she sends her love and greetings to everybody.
Well, thank you.
Oh, and Marci, I wanted to say best of luck with your trip. And I just hope I know it'll be a wonderful thing. And I hope you find whatever you are looking for.
Oh, thank you, Franny.
Yes, thank you. Well, all right. Thank you, Franny. And last but not least, this time we actually did it in correct order. Pat, any last thoughts, questions, anything at all? And John, too.
Thank you all for being the bright, shiny, loving beings you are for the whole collective, for Mother Earth, for each other. And yeah, it can't say much more. Thank you, Jeff, for
Oh.
doing this every month.
Well, you're welcome. And it's just my honor. And as always, blessings to all of you. You are a blessing in all of our lives, Deborah and I, and especially, I mean, in my life. And just to really enjoy the times we have together, these very spiritual times of sharing and caring for each other. So with that, blessings, light, and love. And until next month, namaste.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.